What's happening, Carolina fans? Welcome to Two Fans in the Stands, a podcast related to all things Carolina Panthers and North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm your co-host, Tony.
And I'm your co-host, CJ.
Let's go. CJ, what's happening with your family? How you feeling today?
Feeling good, cuz. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Are you ready for this matchup Saturday against the Virginia Tech Hokies?
Man, I'm ready for it. Let's just hope the Tar Heels are ready for
it. True. So tell me, what you looking for in this week's matchup with the Hokies from Virginia Tech?
First thing I'm looking at is that defense.
Okay.
That defense is terrible. Preach. But where they need the most improvement is down in the trenches. They get no pressure. None. That defensive line is soft as baby crap. They get no pressure on the opposing quarterback. None. The linebackers,
that was going to be a strength this year, but okay, I digress.
Yeah. I mean, you got the freshman 5-star recruit, but as a whole, they're not getting any pressure. And then I think if you go back to the linebackers, I think that's probably the best unit on the defense.
Strongest unit. Yeah, the strongest unit on the team.
It's the strongest unit. But as we saw in the Notre Dame game, when they got that running game going, that play action pass confused the crap out of them. All they had to do was make like they handed their ball off, and them linebackers were coming. And what's his name? Big Mayer was eating them up. I mean, eating them up. He probably would have had 5 or 6 touchdowns, but he kept getting tackled inside the 5-yard line. And they kept handing the ball off.
Listen, quiet as kept. That's what I hope the Panthers keep their eye on in this 2023 draft, because we need a tight end like Michael Myers.
Yeah, for real. And then, you get back to me and your favorite position group on this Tar Heel defense, daggone defensive backs. I mean, them cats are Swiss cheese. They getting sliced, diced, fricasseed, beat. They holding people. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Now, their whole defense needs work, but it has got to start in the trenches. It's got to start with that defensive line. They've got to be able to get pressure. They've got to make the opposing quarterback uncomfortable. I mean, they got time to just sit back there and do what they want to do and get the ball going. Like we said, Notre Dame's offensive line was just opening up holes. The backs were just running through them like wasn't nobody there. They 15 yards down the field before somebody touched them. So it was a mess. It was definitely a straight up mess. But I will switch from the defensive line, and my second point will be the offensive line. They've got to protect Drake May. Got to get May time so he can get the ball down the field. Point blank, period. They've got to protect Drake May, and they got to give him time.
Yeah.
And they've got to do it the entire game. Game.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I know you'll touch on that in a minute. But Carolina's weaknesses, both sides of the ball, starts in the trenches. It starts in the trenches.
I agree.
May has showed us he's a hell of a quarterback. But, when he has time, he's got to have time. He's got to be able to scan the field. He's got to be able to get the ball to his receivers. We got a very capable running back group. Very capable. But the holes just weren't there against Notre Dame. So it starts with that offensive line. And they got to get going.
Yeah. Look, my main thing that I'm looking for is that Drake May continue his hot streak. Right now, he is thrown for 16 touchdowns, 1 interception, with a 69% completion rate and a little over 1,200 passing yards in 4 games. I mean, that's balling out of control. You know what I mean? Like he is really doing the damn thing. Like I didn't know what to expect from him this year. I didn't know what he was gonna look like because we didn't have no sample size. We didn't he didn't play last year. He redshirted. Of course
Yeah,
We had Sam Howell and I think Jacoby Griswold was Sam Howell's backup last year, and him and Drake May competed for the starting QB position this year. But
yeah, they did.
one thing, yeah, one thing that he needs to do, in my opinion, is tighten up his mechanics and learn how to slide. He is not big enough or strong enough to be running RPOs or design quarterback runs. I believe, I think I'm correct. I think he's been sacked like 8 or 9 times already, and a couple of times he taking hits where I'm like, oh my god, I hope he get up. I hope he get up. And then I'd be like,
Yeah, throwing that
slide, boy,
shoulder.
slide. Yeah. I'm like, slide,
Exactly.
slide. Like when you watch him slide, it makes you think, you be like, he couldn't have never he has never played baseball. Because all baseball
No.
players or former baseball players know how to slide. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
that's like second
Or
nature to
or at
them.
least somebody taught them how to slide
Right,
at the very
right.
least.
Right, exactly. But if he don't learn how to slide, if he don't learn how to like just get down, get the yards you're going to get when it looks like you can't get anymore, get down, slide. That's my only knock on him right now is that he needs to better protect himself, even when they're not calling the necessary plays to protect him. He's getting the receivers involved. You know, he's getting the running backs involved, like with Kobe Pasor, J.J. Jones, Antoine Green. You know, all those guys at least have 150 yards right now. Josh Downs,
Hmm.
I think he has about 110, 112 yards, something like that, and already has 4 touchdowns, and that's just off of 14 receptions. Okay, so the receivers are there. They getting open. Matter of fact, Antoine Green had his first 3 touches in that game against Notre Dame. He had those 3 receptions for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that all came in one
150.
game. 150, and he a true freshman. He's out of Virginia, so he got these young receivers. Like I said, Kobe Pasor, Antoine Green, Josh Downs. I think he's a sophomore this year. I think last year he was just a freshman. And you got uh Omarion Hampton, and you got Caleb Hood, not Caleb Hood, George Petaway and Omarion Hampton are your
Yeah, you
freshman
right,
running
Caleb
back.
Hood.
Yeah, Caleb Hood. So you have a very young receiving core and running back uh backfield. And those guys, I know they're going to get better, get stronger, with more experience as time goes on. But right now they need to continue to ride those guys because that's the hot hand for North Carolina right now. Like I'm not
Yes.
a big fan of their offense because I haven't really been able to put my finger on the offensive scheme that they run, but it produces points. That's the one thing I can say. It produces points, but that defense, man, like you said, that I told you, I think we had this conversation right before the game, the Notre Dame game. I was like, I just hope they don't go out here and do like they have done the past 3 games and disappear the second and third quarter. And what did they do? They
Disappear.
disappeared in the second and third quarter. They gave up 38 points. Out of the 45 points that they gave to Notre Dame, that they gave up against Notre Dame, 38 of those points happened in the second and third quarter. I was like, man, damn. And then we jumped out to a 14-0 lead. We jumped out to a
Hmm.
14-0 lead. The
You
defense was
sure did.
playing. Yeah, the defense was playing stout. They were looking good. I mean, from the back end, to the trenches. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was looking good. Then like second quarter started, like which way where they go? You know, I don't know if they brought in the JV scout team and you know, I don't know what happened. But that second and third quarter, man, that's that it killed them. It has been killing them. But this finally in that Notre Dame game, it caught up with them and they lost. I just hope that they get that corrected heading into the game with Virginia Tech Saturday, because if not, I'm afraid Virginia Tech gonna do the same thing that Notre Dame did and explore them. And the main thing that's killing the secondary on the defense is when you start putting players in motion and causing confusion, they're not able to read it quickly and they get confused. And then the defensive backs, you always see them back there looking like, well, who got who? You know what I'm saying? Are we in man coverage? Are we in zone coverage? Are we matching up, or what are we doing? By the time they figure it out, it's already too late. The
Too late.
team already done scored or done you know, got a big play. So I just hope that they get that fixed. Uh, the defensive line was supposed to be our strong suit, but to me, they looking just like the weak link, like the secondary. Like I don't know which one is even worse, in my opinion. But well, what you think?
Man, terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I'd rank them both up there together.
Yeah,
And my thing
yeah,
is, like we keep harping on, we got 5-star recruit back there, Tony Grimes, came to college early, and he's just doing
yes,
absolutely nothing. He's getting torched
nothing.
every other play.
Yes, he
Him and
is.
Storm Duck,
Yeah,
both of
yeah.
them.
And I think he's a senior. Storm Duck is a senior, and I think Tony Grimes was a junior this year.
I mean, they've got to be one
Yeah,
of the worst duos as far as cornerbacks in college football. And I say one of because I haven't seen every single duo out there. You know, it may be
right.
some worse, but you know, Power Five wise, they got to be up there in two of the worst out there. And you
Was
know, I'm
I'm sorry.
pulling for both of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for both of them, but they just haven't put it on tape this year.
Well, I don't know if it's going to happen, but just to give you a quick statistical rankings, our offense rushing we are 33rd in the country, passing we are 19th in the country. So overall, we are 16th in the country. Defensively, against the run, 123rd, and against the pass, we are 113th. So we are 126th ranked defense overall. Now, last time I
Mm.
checked in Division 1A, there's only like 126 or 127 Division 1A schools. So if if you are 126,
Yeah, at the bottom.
you, I mean you are in the mud. You're not walking on top of the mud. You are the mud. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
those two things, like that's a big disparity. That's a big difference between the offense and defense. And I don't know
Yes.
how you balance that out, especially the way they playing right now, because it doesn't look like the defense is
Yeah.
getting any better. It don't look
Nah.
like it's
I
getting
mean,
any
if they
better.
would have made one stop, you know, one stop, that could have been a
Yeah,
whole different game. A
yeah,
whole different game. And the first quarter, it's just like they're hyped up the first quarter. They're ready to go. Defenses come in. I'm sorry, the opposing team's offense comes in, and it's like they get their game plan together. Second and third quarter, they execute it flawlessly. And
yeah,
I don't know what it is, whether it's a combination of Gene Chizik taking his foot off the gas, or I'm sorry, not taking his foot off the gas, putting his foot back on the gas in the fourth quarter, or the opposing offense taking their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. But you know, they always seem to get stops in the fourth, but by that time, the game is done. You
man.
know, it's it's done. That offense looks good, but they, as much as I like Drake May, he ain't gonna be able to put up 5 touchdowns a game all season, and having to play
Right,
catch up the whole
exactly.
game, it's not gonna work.
What it to me in my mind is like I don't have no problem. I don't have no problems right now with the offense, but the spotted play of the offensive line. I believe that we can score points, but can we stop anybody? That's the biggest thing. Like Drake may go up there and throw 5 touchdowns and give you 35 points. But can we stop other teams from scoring 35 points? Because right now we getting into conference play. You know what I'm saying? This is the first conference game that we got. We got Virginia Tech, Miami, Duke, Pitt, Virginia, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, NC State. Like all these games for on the rest of the schedule is all conference play. I mean, it's good that we started 3-0, you know, but it 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 really don't mean anything going forward until you start getting these divisional wins.
Sure
And
don't.
from what I've seen, the first 4 games, it don't look good. We might be able to pull another 3 games out to be bowl eligible this year. I'm just being honest. I wish for the best, but the defense they ain't giving me anything to hang my hat on, man. They ain't not giving
Now
me
looking like a
anything
Liberty Bowl
to
appearance
hang
or
my hat
something.
on. Yeah, and I'm not gonna let them get my hopes up too damn high and disappoint me. No, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. No,
I
sir.
feel you.
Well, that would do it for us on Two Fans in the Stands Week 4 preview of the North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Virginia Tech Hokies, Saturday at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Check us out after the game as we give a full game recap of the Tar Heels and the Hokies matchup.